Somewhere else, thoughts from a moonlit causeway by the West's Awake. I've been feeling the need to put my back into a piece of writing for a while, but determining exactly what to put my back into or ram my shoulder against has been evading me. Not a lengthy piece, but something with a little intense purity, more for me than anyone else. So I've been wandering out of Lego Town in search of something undiscovered within myself, sometimes in a church related setting and sometimes nature. The world feels to me more and more like a city built of Lego pieces. Stepping into it for long or taking it seriously seems faintly ridiculous, dangerous even. Quite often I write about the goings on in a Lego town, but mustering lasting emotion for the characters in it escapes me most of the time. Anger bubbles and boils over here and there, but it lives only as long as the length of time I choose to absorb the lies of Lego Town's fantasies. Sure, I scribble down things functionally about Lego Town and sometimes diligently, then hit the publish button. But more often than not, I sit back down somewhere else. I often ask myself why I bother doing this anymore, and the best I can come up with is that hopefully someone might stumble upon my writing and use a piece of it as a map to find a road out of Lego Town for themselves. To point out there is a road out of the fluorescent town, possibly many, and by extension they can always come back into it if they so desire. With this in mind, people might then dare to muster a little courage to at least consider leaving the city limits once in a while for a look around and consume the world a different way for a day or two or a month or more. Other than that type of writing and digital recordings of some conversations, I'm usually somewhere on a hill or in a forest or in my car or elbow leaning on the railings of a causeway leading out to an island. Silently somewhere is a good description of me and these places I ghost into in quiet joy, sad tears, and peaceful understanding of the laughable limitations of myself as a Lego Town man, and yet experience too the limitless possibilities that beat within me as someone other than mortar and plastic bricks. This other world is signposted with invisible paintwork and translucent lettering hanging from the branch of a hidden forest tree, or the gentle sponge of step on a bog's path, or even the heavy beam of powerful sunlight from a setting sun divinely framed by a gap in some bushes, telling me my true existence lies in this lightly and nightly misted village picture frame called somewhere else. Sometimes I find villagers and meet fellow travelers on the road in this place called somewhere else, but often I do not. Of course, God shows up more often than he doesn't, for it is all God really, isn't it? When you escape the distractions of Lego Town. He comes not to prod or cajole or guilt or to boast. No, never. He appears just as a reminder that there is no escaping him, and often comes disarmed with that kindly and knowing smile of his to let me know that he knows all of the ways and all of the places I've tried to outrun and outfox him. You might say I am getting tired of my own needless exercise and mental resistance more frequently. Meanwhile, back in Lego Town, the last month or so has been taken up with two separate cases involving Bridget versus the Irish state. Specifically, the court service attempting to remove my driving license out of my wallet and call a halt to my moonlight moseying around the west of Ireland with Bridget, the two of us on the lookout for somewhere else. Someday I might write about this period of time in greater detail, but for now, suffice to say, I've been the beneficiary of a couple of quite remarkable miracles. I bring this up merely to highlight a feature of my life I am noticing more and more. Somewhere else is where I most regularly encounter and surrender to the divine will and reap its unexpected benefits. Actually, the only place where the divine world pours and flows into this one. Although I occasionally write about this aspect of my life, I find it increasingly difficult to find the words. Spirituality and religious practice are such entrenched positions in the modern world, and quite often business practices nowadays. I don't want to ever become either. I have my own practices which I adapt frequently, and the sole reason I am comfortable with them is they challenge and wrestle with me every single day of the week. They are demanding and whispering and exciting too. As a result, I'm not who I was 2 years ago. I'm not who I was 1 year ago. And I'm not even who I thought I was going to be 3 months ago. I get enough confirmations when I'm traipsing down the right path, and plenty of warning signals when I've veered off course. I'm sure I've written words to that effect before, but it bears repeating, if only to myself. This is how spirituality feels to me, and should feel, entirely my own. I don't want anyone else's, and I'm sure they don't want to inhabit mine. So, in these terms, the future is something to be prepared for and embraced, rather than a prediction game of ego-fulfilling prophecies in Lego Town. Something to think about and reflect upon further during my next stumbling visit into somewhere else, with, with Bridget along with hopefully a wallet containing a driver's license. Although one of these fair days or nights I might never come back and just cast it into the gently lapping waves on the far side of the moon and Mutton Island.